Hello and welcome to Yoga TX. My name is Crystal. Today I've got a short 15-minute yin practice for you, and this will be focused on the lower body, so hips, glutes, legs, do a little bit of ankle stuff, some toe stuff. So this is really nice maybe after, after you've been really active, walking, running, sometimes even just being in the car for a long time can affect our legs and make them tired and we don't realize it. So again, this is a lower body yin practice. I do recommend, if you have them, to grab 2 blocks. I also have a towel. You can use a blanket or something that you can roll up and just have those things handy. If you don't have them, that's okay. We're all just doing our best. We're gonna start in a seat. If you wanna prop yourself up on your blanket or your block, feel free to. Sometimes it helps to have something tilt the pelvis forward and elevate our hips. And bring your hands somewhere on your body. Let your eyes close down. And begin to exhale all your air out. And take an inhale through the nose. Mouth open, let it go. And we'll do 2 more, really slowing down the breath here. Take an inhale. Mouth open to exhale. 1 more deep breath in. And longest exhale of your day thus far. All right, from here, I'm actually gonna start with a little bit of movement, but I invite you to come off of any props. And we're going to bring our shin towards our chest. Some people call this hug the baby. Options are, you might reach underneath your shin. I was like, what is this called? Your shin with your hands and kind of use that, I don't know, like your hands are a tray. And just take a gentle sway side to side. Now, other options, you can bring your forearms more under the leg and find more of a hook. I find this feels a little bit more stable for me. And continue that rock. Or maybe, this is the most fun, hook your elbows around your foot and your knee, and I interlace my fingers. Now, if you're like, oh, what's happening? I feel really unstable. Both knees can be bent, or you can straighten that bottom leg, and that might help shift your weight forward to stabilize the upper body more here. So then we're just finding a rock, and let your arms do the work here. So let that right leg or the bent knee, whichever one you have, be really heavy in your arms or in your hands. And you can keep this going, or you might take whichever knee is bent and the one you're holding up, you can take that hand and reach back a bit. And then here, you might find that space where there's a little bit of pressure and tension and massage out the glutes here. And this is often a thing I feel like we don't think about, but this can feel really good after a long day, kind of sitting, standing, I don't know. It's just a good thing to do anytime. All right, and then once you've had enough of that, we're gonna come back forward. If your bottom leg is bent, we're gonna extend it, and then we'll bring the sole of the right foot to the inner thigh. And from here, again, if you're like, I have a little bit of this curve because I tend to hunch, feel free to place your blanket or your towel back underneath your sits bones just to lean them forward. And we'll take a fold over our center line. Now, again, this is a good place for blocks. If you want some space between yourself and the floor, you can bring your forehead to those blocks. Or if you have more space, you can just walk your hands forward. Head can dangle in space. Something I also like to do is bend my elbows, and I can rest my forehead in my fingertips. And that also helps to give a nice massage to the face, to the forehead, maybe the temples. And just like we did at the start of class, see if you can lengthen your breath here. Can you make your exhales longer than your inhales? And we'll start to press ourselves back up. And we're just gonna take this to the other side. If you want a little bit of movement before we switch, lean your hands back, bend both knees, and windshield wipe your knees side to side. All right, and then now you know where we're going. We're gonna work with that hip opening and glute massage. So you can either extend, this is my right leg, you can extend that leg forward, or you can have both knees bent. And finding that either scoop of the hands underneath the left shin and finding that rock. Maybe you find that, what is this, like a pitchfork or a shovel? I don't know, shovels and yoga, I feel like they don't go together. Yeah, finding that bend of the elbows underneath the shin, or you can wrap elbow creases around the foot and the knee. And let your left leg be heavy. Now again, if you feel like you want more stabilization, maybe re-stretch out the bottom leg, the one that you're not holding. This helps kind of floss out the hips here. Now you're welcome to stay, or we'll lean towards that glute massage. So the leg you're holding onto, you'll lean towards the side that the knee is pointing. So my left hand reaches out, and I'm gonna kind of lean back into the back corner of the mat and massage out the glutes here. And you'll know it when you feel it. If you're like, I don't know exactly. And if this is something that's like really strange, you're like, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. That's okay, you can come back to this. All of this is definitely opening up things in the lower body. So whatever you do, just make sure you breathe. And then if you have that bottom leg extended, keep that. If you don't, you'll extend it. We'll lean ourselves forward and bring the sole of the left foot to the inner right thigh. We're gonna lean forward over our center line. So instead of towards the extended leg, if you want your blocks on this side, feel free to bring them in front of you. And then lower the forehead down. If you liked the bent elbows with the forehead or temple massage, feel free to take that. I'm gonna change it up on this side. So we're getting a nice stretch here in both the spine, the low back, and also behind the leg that's outstretched. So the calf, the hamstrings of the extended leg. A bit of hip opening in the leg that's bent as well. All right, and start to upright your spine. If you want, we'll take that windshield wipe of the knees once more. Sometimes it is just nice to find movement after being still for a number of breaths. And then we'll come to sit on our heels. Now, we're gonna set up for fire toes. If you know it, and you know where we're going. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to lean forward a bit. I'm gonna tuck all 10 toes under, and I'm gonna sit my weight back on my heels. So this might feel like a lot of pressure underneath the feet. This also helps open up, especially if you spend time in tight shoes. This is really nice to do. Make sure all 10 toes are tucked under. Now, remember, we'll be here for a number of breaths. If at any point you want to take some pressure off, feel free to lean your weight forward. That'll take some pressure off. You can also choose to bring a block between your heels, or I like the 2 blocks. And then I'm still leaning my weight back, but my sits bones have a little more support, so not all the weight is on the heels. Take about 5 more breaths here. So do with that what you will. Remember, you can lean forward at any point. And I invite you to slow down your breath. And a nice reminder that when we're uncomfortable, we often hold our breath. So if you're starting to find that this is feeling a bit more intense than it did when you started, you're always welcome to lean forward. Or see if you can sit with this discomfort. Can you breathe through it? We often use what we practice in yoga And we find that it's applicable to life outside of the studio. Can you breathe through this person cutting you off on the freeway? Maybe. Sometimes it doesn't always work, but it's nice to practice. Was that relaxing? I'm sorry if it wasn't. All right, we're gonna come forward and remove the blocks from under you if you were sitting on them. Find your tabletop, untuck the tops, untuck the toes, tap out the tops of the feet. And we're gonna work into an ankle stretch. So don't tuck your toes this time, hallelujah. Sit your weight back on your heels. And then this might be enough because sometimes just pressing the weight, we're like sitting on the heels, but that's pressing the weight into the top of the ankles. If you want more sensation, start to walk your hands back a bit. And you can also bring your blocks back behind you if the floor feels far away. And that leaning the weight back will put a little more pressure into the ankles. If you want more, I invite you to bring your blocks at a low setting and kind of set the tops of the knees on the blocks, and that'll add support for the legs, but this is definitely a lot more sensation. Now, again, if you don't have any blocks, you might take that towel or that blanket and roll it up, and you can also use that to elevate the knees a little bit. All right, so pick your poison, pick your level of intensity here, and remember we're here for a number of breaths. Let's take like 5 more breaths here. And again, sometimes something feels really easy for maybe the first 2 or 3 breaths. And then when you realize that you're hanging out there, it starts to feel less easy. And that's where the breath comes in. You're almost there. I also, like I said, like to breathe really slow. So if you're like, I did my 5 breaths, what are you doing? I don't know, sorry, you're following my video, here we are. All right, I'm gonna do one more. All right, if you used any props, one knee at a time, you'll release it. It might feel a little bit uncomfortable. We'll come back to tabletop. And then extend one leg back, circle out the ankle, and that'll probably feel really good, getting movement back in. A few circles in each direction. It's that counter motion. And then we'll switch. Extend the other leg back, circle out the ankle. All right, we're gonna meet on our backs, and we're going to end with a twist. A simple supine twist here. If you want to use your block, sometimes that can help make it less intense. So we're gonna bring our knees to the left. So place your blocks on the left side first, and I like to make, I don't know, a line, not a stack. I'll extend my left leg and bend my right knee into the chest. And take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, left hand will draw the right knee over. Now, if you don't have blocks, no worries. Just try to ground both shoulder blades. If you do have blocks, you can place your knee and ankle, or think about just resting the shin on the blocks. And you can also increase the twist by taking your chin away from the bent knee, so over to the right shoulder. And then coming back through center, if you like the blocks or just want to use them on the other side, bring your blocks over to the right. We'll extend the right leg long, hug the left knee in towards the chest. Take an inhale. And exhale, right hand pulls the left knee over. Maybe resting the shin, or think about knee and the inner arch of the foot coming onto a block. And ground your left shoulder blade, maybe gaze over the left shoulder. And then we'll come back through center. Option to hug both knees in just to kind of restabilize, balance it out. Maybe rock a little bit right to left. And then find your Savasana. Extend legs out. If you have blocks or your blanket, I'll demo this with the blanket. Sometimes it is nice. And they do this if you ever go get a massage. You'll notice that they tend to roll a blanket up under your knees when you're lying on your back. So that can be a really nice thing to do here at the end of practice. And now that we're at the end, I invite you to really let the breath slow down. We're not holding on to anything, any poses or discomfort. And feel free to stay here as long as you need. If you're ready or just need to move on with your day, I invite you to find some gentle movement. Point and flex the toes or circle out the wrists. When you're ready, take a big good morning stretch. Reach your arms overhead. And as you exhale, roll to one side as you hug your knees in towards your chest, finding a fetal position on whichever side is more comfortable. And then press yourself up to a seat. All right, bring your hands, that wasn't in the right place. Bring your hands to your heart space, either palms touch in prayer or stack one hand on top of the other. We'll seal this practice with a breath together. To begin, exhale all your air out. Inhale, fill your lungs, breathe into your hands. Take in an extra sip at the top and sigh it out. Thank you so much for practicing with me here today at Yoga TX. If you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe to our page. If you want to follow me, you can find me on Instagram. My handle is at its_Crystal. That's CRYST, 5 A's and an L. Namaste, yogis.